Good afternoon, everyone. I guess I get the pleasure of the after-lunch session, so I'm going to try my best to keep you engaged. I'm a part of ONDC team. I lead the state initiatives as a part of network expansion at Open Network for Digital Commerce. So just a show of hands, how many of you have heard about ONDC? That's actually quite a good number. So ONDC basically stands for Open Network for Digital Commerce. It's an initiative which was started back in COVID under the aegis of Ministry of Commerce and Industries. We were incubated for quite some time at Quality Council of India. And we are now a Section 8 company. It's an NPO. And it's only been one and a half years since our journey has taken forward. But we have made significant progress. But before I move forward, I would like to walk you through as to how we came into the idea of ONDC. So ONDC's goal is to dramatically step change e-commerce penetration in India. As most of us are already aware that there is a significant part of retail sector which is not digitally enabled in India. Our penetration, e-retail penetration remains at a very low percentage of 4.3%, and it is much lower than our counterparts in China, South Korea, and the UK. And there's a very limited share of smaller rural towns which are not transacting, not even hearing about e-commerce at that level. So our goal at ONDC is to increase the GMV of digital transactions, expanding the coverage of retailers across digital commerce, try to get them used to digital commerce more, and expand the full share of Indians using e-commerce to buy online. We are also trying to amplify the geographical coverage that exists in the state for e-commerce. And ONDC is basically designed to solve these key factors across the value chain, which are holding back the participation from retailers across the nation. So we have basic challenges which we solve. That is limited choices for seller to come online. We have inability for retailers and merchants to set their own terms and conditions. They are bound by the terms and conditions of the e-commerce platforms which are present today as an option to them. And discoverability is also an issue for buyer as well as for sellers. So as buyers, we struggle to find the right sellers for us, for right products for us. And as sellers, they also struggle to reach out to you without having to pay heavy margins or without having to get the headache of stitching to the entire value chain by themselves. And lastly, if it's not unviable, it's not impossible, but it's unviable for a small seller today to get onto the e-commerce value chain. So we do this by two design principles that we have, which is unbundling and interoperability. So the unbundling part is very important. This is what we figured, that there's a complete value chain that we have. The best way to go about it is to unbundle it. So allow everybody present here as well to do what you do best in terms of stitching the value chain. So let's say if you do digital cataloging, that is your strong suit, you do that, and you offer that as a service to all the retailers, all the sellers, all other seller applications. And the second principle is interoperability. Interoperability will basically allow you to transact between different platforms, whether you're a buyer or a seller. Whether you're in retail, you're in any other domain, you're a logistics player, any. There are a lot of opportunities to be available on ONDC for everyone. So I'm just going to take an example here. None of us are actually thinking about it, but we have been used to interoperability for quite some time. So back in the 80s, when the email was just introduced, none of us today think that if you are on Gmail and you are on, let's say, Yahoo or any other platform, Hotmail or whichever, you are able to send your emails without thinking, right? We don't think that, oh my God, they are on different platform, they will not be able to receive my mail. Similarly, on e-commerce, we are going to build an open protocol. We have built an open protocol for digital commerce, which will allow buyer on any buyer platform to be able to buy from any seller on any seller application. So we are moving from platform-centric models to open network models. This is an open interoperable made in India specifications. We are quite proud of that. This is another population scale initiative that we are taking a dig at. And it is inspired by Beacon Protocol. You can also visit our website. It is ondc.org to find out more about it. So getting to the problem statement again. So today what happens is there are buyers on one platform, right? And they cannot interact with the sellers on another platform. And everyone has to register on multiple platforms to be a part of this e-commerce world that we are in right now, right? So, and even the platform, from the platform's perspective, they have to do everything together, right? So they have to ensure that there is search, build cart, payment gateways, which they have. They also have to ensure that there's catalog management, order fulfillment, returns and cancellations. And they also have to ensure that either they have an in-house capability of logistics or they have to partner up with someone who can do the last mile delivery for them. And similarly, the story goes on for multiple platforms. Now, what you will have to do is only build the components best suited for your strengths, and ONDC will connect you to the other parties who will complete the e-commerce value chain for you. So as you can see before, there were all proprietary protocols through which they were connected. You had no insight into it, you have no say into it. This is a complete solution which you are sold, right? But with ONDC, it has basically unbundled the complete chain, and the components are interoperable with each other. So the retail buyer application, which is one of the roles you can play on the network, the retail buyer application will basically search for the product, build the cart, and provide payment gateways, for example. That is also interoperable, by the way. And for the retail seller application, which is responsible for bringing seller on the network, they can completely focus on the seller side functionalities like catalog management, order fulfillment, returns, cancellations, etc. And there's a logistics seller also who just provides, he has chosen that I will only provide last mile delivery, or they want to go into just hyper-local, or they want to go only interstate. They want to take big orders, small orders. It's completely on them, which role they want to play on the network. So once again, with ONDC, all buyers, sellers, and logistics players can interact with each other so that everybody will only need to register once. So another feature with ONDC we have is that your reputation, that is your reviews, your ratings, etc., will carry forward to wherever you go. So it does not matter that if you have, as a seller, if you have registered to one platform, that you will be able to not go onto the other platform without taking your ratings and reviews with it, because we believe that they are your, as a seller, they belong to you and should be carried forward. As a buyer also, you can use any mechanism, so whichever works best for you. You can choose that and transact via that particular application. Right, this is just another, we are just unbundling the whole scenario so that you can understand it better. There are entities with user base. For example, your entity just has user base with you right now. So you can only focus on buyer-related services and still be a part of the e-commerce value chain. So here you can see that there is a retail buyer application. They will be able to transact with another seller application, and they will be able to transact with other logistics player as well. So same is true for seller application. So if you are in a position where you're connected with multiple sellers, you can simply bring in the sellers on the network and still be a part of the e-commerce value chain. And lastly, again, with the logistics player. So if you are a logistics seller, you simply have to provide your services, and all the retail buyer applications and seller applications will be able to get your services on ONDC. So essentially, we are arriving at a universal buyer-seller logistics network. And it's not like it's not happening right now. We are pitching a concept which is in future. It's happening right now. We already have 6 buyer applications with us. We have 5 logistics applications, and we have 21 seller-side applications, which actually has given us access to 75 cities across India. And the way to enable yourself to be a part of this next revolution in e-commerce is that you plug into ONDC and you complete your e-commerce solution. So it doesn't matter whether you have a small store, you have a big store, you have inventory, you have marketplace. It won't matter. You just need to decide your role onto the network and get added to it. So there's also no need for you to do all the business activities together. Even if today you're connecting as a seller to multiple platforms, you have this headache of maintaining all the different databases and different processes for all. But with ONDC, that's not going to happen. There's a single, for example, there's a single catalog. So no need for taking multiple photos according to multiple platforms. You just need to do it once and you're done. The last is that you can partner with the best cost effectively. And I would encourage everyone in the room, we are actually live with these 6 buyer applications. You can try place an order right away. There's a feedback form. I'm sorry, I don't have a QR code for that right now, but if you go onto our website, there's feedback form link is available. You can put in your feedback and we are taking that right now. So these are the 6 which are live. It's live in Mumbai as well, and it's live in Bangalore, Delhi, Bhopal, multiple other cities. As a domain, it's not just retail that, it's not simply a retail that we are focusing at. We are also open in electronics segment, fashion, BPC, agriculture. We have been able to onboard multiple FPOs who are selling via ONDC. We are also live in mobility. So for example, we are working with the government of Kerala as a Kerala Open Mobility Network. So the idea is that we stitch together all the players, all the mobility providers, that is your taxis, your cabs, etc., on the same network. So it doesn't matter which interface you will be using, you will still be able to get a transport vehicle wherever it is available. The last is home and kitchen, wholesale, and we are also sort of deep diving into B2B as we have already started B2C happening. So while I have repeated a lot of benefits which are there for sellers, for buyers, and for technology companies, this sort of gives you a rough idea as to how many benefits comes from joining ONDC, no matter whether you are a buyer, you're a seller, or you're a technology company. So as a buyer, you have a single platform access for all the domains. So you don't need to have multiple applications on your phone. Just one would do, whichever suits you best. So go back to the time when there was no UPI in India, right? So we had multiple platforms where we were able to send money. But cut to 5 years, we are a billion transactions. We are a billion transactions, and we are able to transact with each other swiftly. So that is what our goal is here. For the sellers, of course, discoverability to the entire buyer universe exists, and they have to maintain a single time registration and carry forward their reputation. And for technology companies, they can basically focus on building particular solutions which are scalable to all. So that leads to a cost-effective mechanism for you. I would simply cover Section 8 company. We are not a regulator. We do not have we are not a central mediatory, and we are not an application. We are not a protocol. We are not an application. We are not a platform. We are simply an open network. We are capability. We are an infrastructure which are enabling other market players to transact between each other. Like I mentioned, it's a Made in India initiative, and it is backed by Ministry of Commerce and Industries. And this is our advisory council. We have, it's basically comprising of all stalwarts and in multiple domains who regularly guide us and are helping us out in expanding ONDC suited for the domain. Like I mentioned, we have only been here for about 1 year, but we have already done our beta launch in September 2022, and we are already live in 75 cities as of now. So in case you're interested to know how you are going to join as a seller app or a buyer app or a TSP, we do have a stall right over here. And you can interact with multiple seller applications and buyer applications which are present with us. So the ones which are here are Bizom, N-Store, My Store, Go Frugal, and Magic Pin. So our stall is right here. You can please feel free to drop by. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.